dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew? We back, baby. We got how X Factor destroyed a contestant's You can do it. Thank you.
What? How X Factor destroyed
yeah. I got it. How X Factor destroyed
his entire life.
Yeah, why you trying to?
I was not correcting you.
Hold on, why you get stuck? Why you get stuck on?
Because I was trying to decide if I wanted to say or
Just read how.
Or a or I was trying to decide.
How X Factor destroyed a contestant's entire
life. I said it. Shut up.
But shout out to Sunny V2, man. He got another one for us, man. So with that being said, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go if you want to first support. All you have to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
liking it with a thumbs up.
One thing about like a lot of these shows, I personally didn't watch or consume into it. Like I remember the early days of America's Got Talent. I did check those out early.
Mm-hmm. I watched that.
After the first couple seasons, literally the first couple, 2, I stopped watching. I only watched like the beginning, the troll shit.
I watched all of that.
And then afterwards, I really didn't pick up into was at the finale. So but even X Factor really didn't watch. America's Got Talent really didn't watch unless it was something like a clip or something posted on YouTube. But other than that, I ain't really check these out. So this is gonna be new to me, man. You might know who they talking about. You watch X Factor?
I watched it a little bit.
Okay. Let's go.
When Zoe Alexander received 4 no's from the X Factor judges, her entire life fell apart over a 10-year period, and the whole thing was documented on camera from 100 different angles. It all began with this email right here, in which Zoe first reached out to the X Factor requesting to appear on the show, explaining that she was a 22-year-old Pink impersonator but wanted to audition as herself. After being accepted as a contestant, Zoe was asked to send through 5 songs she wanted to sing, yet the X Factor then specifically demanded that Zoe audition as Pink.
They wanted me to sing a Pink song. He basically said that if I didn't, I wouldn't be going on the show, so I agreed.
After agreeing to do so, Zoe was invited in for an interview where they continued to ask her.
I remember her face. Her face is very familiar.
Yeah.
And I swear I feel like I did see her. And it was like the Pink.
Go ahead.
I'm tired of you and him at this point.
You tired of us?
I'm finna put both of y'all out.
You better put us out.
Put both of y'all out.
Alright.
He don't know how to sit down. You don't know how to sit down. He don't know how to shut up. You don't know how to shut up. It just
First of all,
it's something every day. It's just a joke.
Well, I'm not playing.
I am. I keyed around all day. Key the name. But no. Dude, get somewhere and sit down though. He ready to play. That's all it is, man. He been trying to play all.
So I agreed.
After agreeing to do so, Zoe was invited in for an interview where they continued to ask her about Pink.
All he wanted to talk about was Pink. Have you seen Pink live? Do you know Pink's real name? Do you think you're like Pink in real life?
With Zoe adding that they had no interest in her personally.
Well, you did apply to. I'll say this. Going back to this, you kind of did apply to it with saying you're a Pink impersonator. So they're expecting.
Did she put that in her thing that she was a Pink impersonator? Because I didn't read it.
Do we got? It's only 47 seconds, so we can go back. Thank you. We can go back.
It all began with this email right here, in which Zoe first reached out to the X Factor requesting to appear on the show, explaining that she was a 22-year-old Pink impersonator but wanted to audition as herself. After being accepted as a contestant, Zoe was asked to send through 5 songs she wanted to sing, yet the X Factor then specifically demanded that Zoe audition as Pink.
They wanted me to sing a Pink song. He basically said that if I didn't, I wouldn't be going on the show, so I agreed.
After agreeing to do so, Zoe was invited in for an interview where they continued to ask her about Pink.
All he wanted to talk about was Pink. Have you seen Pink live? Do you know Pink's real name? Do you think you're like Pink in real life?
With Zoe adding that they had no interest in her personally, showing that the X Factor had an ulterior motive to create a story out of her being Pink.
it's hard to, like, you know what I'm saying, sometimes separate when somebody first say, hey, I'm a Pink impersonator, and then, hey, now the whole thing is, oh, she thinks she's like Pink. All right, does she seem like Pink? Because it's kind of hard to separate someone when you're doing that. You have the image of Pink. You get what I'm saying? And everything is so now it's like who you are kind of falls to the wayside. That's the reason why it's always, no matter what you do, keep the originality of you, who you are. Like, don't try to ride this wave of somebody who's already somebody. You get what I mean? It's kind of makes people, when you say, hey, I want to be who I am, and it's kind of people like, I don't care, but this is so, you know? Or am I reaching with that one? No. Correct me if I'm wrong, see?
Do good.
Showing that the X Factor had an ulterior motive to create a story out of her being Pink. Before heading out on stage, one of the X Factor producers then encouraged Zoe to give an overly emotional performance.
And he said, make sure you use all of the stage. If the judges say no, beg them, cry, get down on your knees and beg.
So when she'd appear in front of the judges just a few minutes later, this is what went down.
I'm gonna sing So What by Pink.
Pink, okay. Off you go.
After stating that she was gonna sing So What by Pink, Zoe gave a boisterous emotional performance, using the whole stage with excessive facial expressions. However, the focus on her physical delivery and a few other things which we'll talk about later meant the singing was fairly average, leading the judges to stop her mid-song before stating this.
I honestly think that you need to go away and take the time to find yourself as an artist.
Despite this, the judges were kind enough to give her a second chance.
Should we get a second song?
Yeah.
I want to give you a chance.
Yet she was then stopped midway through her second song before the judges once again implied that they didn't think she was good enough.
Is it?
And that's when you gotta blame the producers. You gotta blame producers on this. Because the producers ain't thinking about you. They ain't thinking about the talent. They ain't thinking about
and them views, and they need that.
They thinking
all
about
they feed off of.
what can make us good ratings. Because that's what's gonna keep us in and keep my job
because
going.
is that who pushed, like, for
Yeah,
her to,
yeah,
even
yeah.
though she wanted to come out and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
her,
Yeah.
even though she's a Pink impersonator, and her,
Yeah.
you know,
'Cause the
but she
producers
wanted
are
to
who
come
the-
out and do her, and they was like, no, do this.
Because those
this,
the ones in the backgrounds, the ones
Yeah.
who knows your story,
Right,
who's
right.
constantly communicating with you. Not the those judges don't probably know anything about you until you come up on stage.
Yeah.
But it's the people who surrounding the network, the ones who
Right.
do the background research. So they are trying to get the ratings. So they want this clickbait image of we have a woman who impersonates Pink, and then when the judges shame you, it's good for ratings.
Excuse me. In that sense, I do feel bad because at the end of the day, even though she, which I wouldn't have even mentioned it at all with her being a Pink impersonator, but with her telling you that, but then proceeding to be like, I just want to do me. Like, I want to, you know, they was like, no, do this, do that, da-da-da-da, because at the end of the day, it's for their personal gain of the show.
And my thing is, could your whole trajectory have changed if you just had auditioned who you are, didn't even bring up the Pink? You could have kept the same hairstyle, same style. It just would have put them in a reminder as Pink, but say, hey, this is not a Pink impersonator. But when you come in, and that's kind of the first thing you introduce yourself as.
Okay,
that's
because
what
if you
people
already
put in
going
their
to
mind.
let them know, like, hey, I just want to do, you know, me and be myself, you should not have even mentioned the first
Never at
part.
all.
But yeah.
Way through her second song before the judges once again implied that they didn't think she was good enough.
Because at the moment, it just sounds like every other average sort of singing voice.
But as the judges explained that she wouldn't be going to the next round, Zoe turned the criticism back onto them.
You told me to sing a Pink song. I didn't want to sing a Pink song. You guys told me to sing a Pink song.
Sing a Pink song.
Zoe then proceeded to lose her temper before bringing her dad onto the stage, swearing at the judges and throwing the microphone toward them. After some more chaos then went down backstage, Zoe lashed out at the cameraman ending the segment. However, in terms of negative feedback, this was really only the start. The family was so distraught from the event that they drove home in silence, yet Zoe seemed convinced that they wouldn't include her performance in the final cut of the show.
I still didn't believe believe that they would show my audition on TV. I mean, how could they show the systematic bullying leading to a breakdown of a woman? It would be too upsetting.
Until about an hour after arriving home, when a Daily Mail reporter who was at the audition called the family to get a statement for an article and to tell Zoe that she was definitely going to appear on television.
They will edit it in any way they can to show it on TV because it is TV gold.
With this information, Zoe's mental health began to decline rapidly.
I couldn't sleep. I just stayed up every night. I can't stress to you enough what an emotional wreck I was. I didn't trust anyone and I just kept breaking down, crying.
Made even worse by the countless articles talking about the situation before the episode had even gone live. Then, after 6 weeks of fear, Zoe's phone began to ring.
I got a phone call from the X Factor informing me that they were going to air my audition. I was honestly so terrified. I just said no and put the phone down.
Within hours of the episode going live, the performance was being called the most shocking audition ever, while other publications such as The Mirror called her X Factor's most shocking contestant ever. As a result of this, Zoe stated, "I was recognized everywhere I went, laughed at, pointed at, threatened. Both myself and my dad have been threatened with violence to the point that my dad had to physically defend us."
I'd go to the gym and people would watch the video on their phones in front of me and then whisper and laugh.
Despite this, Judge Tulsi Constantavlos refused to change her attitude on the situation, stating there is always going to be the odd person who throws a massive hissy fit. Thousands of people over the years have auditioned, and this one person couldn't control their temper and threw a fit. But I don't think...
Because the thing is, the producers told you to do that. The judges don't know.
Yeah.
The judges probably don't know what's really going on. Or
But-
do yeah, like, because in my head, like,
do
sometimes they know. But I say this, it's very seldom that they know, because they are the ones that's really there for because they are the star, technically, of the show.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for the next star, but they are the stars of the show, which is the judges. Most of the time, it's because the viewers are tuning in to hear their opinion. So a lot of times, they don't know a lot of what's going on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
The producers, the camera people be knowing. Like the stage, like some people really be knowing, hey, we're going to try to get a good click out there. So they're telling people, hey, we paying here. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you ever been, you know, they kind of inform y'all first of all, like what's expected, you know? So was her performance, how she reacted, expected amongst the crew? Possibly so. But as far as the judges, they probably still to it really came out that they didn't know anything about it, you know? Somebody probably told them at the end, like, hey, but they were like,
they still didn't.
They probably still have a negative, like, why she overreact like that then?
Yeah.
But they're not being, because nobody's always, in the entertainment business, no one is ever 100% honest.
Yeah.
With anything. A lot of people, they lie. They'll lie, but it'd be a good lie. Mm-hmm. They really make up the lie, like, where it looks flawless, where it doesn't really tell us the honest truth.
That's a reason for everyone to go, you've got to think about their emotions. That was one person. Those are her issues and she chose to bring those issues to the stage. Given she now had no other option, Zoe began to defend herself by stating that the show deliberately tried to make me out to be this girl with a bad attitude, before she theorized that the X Factor deliberately encouraging her to sing a Pink song was part of a plan to increase ratings through televising a poor performance, which would explain why the producers encouraged her to be emotional in the minutes before the audition. Zoe Alexander was set up for a fall, and yes, she couldn't sing, but that isn't the issue under discussion. Setting people up to mockery by deliberately enhancing their self-image beyond their talents is cruelty bordering on human rights infringement. Zoe's volatile nature would have been spotted in one of the earlier auditions, and then stoked up so she would outburst on TV, and thereby encourage a flagging audience to tune in with the expectation of future Jerry Springer moments. Shameful, just shameful, yet others were a little less compassionate. Look, she may have been set up by producers, which isn't fair, but at the end of the day, she can't sing. The judges were just being polite by using the identity thing as an excuse because she did get to sing a second song, which she was also rubbish at. Her violent/physical outburst was wrong, full stop. Yes, it's unfair for producers to mislead her, but her reaction was atrocious and very bratty. Also, her dad shouldn't have brought her back onto the stage either, as this escalated the whole situation. She got to sing 2 songs, whereas most people get to sing 1, and she wasn't good enough, end of.
Which I agree with both statements. Totally agree with both statements. Because sometimes you got to understand, as we move more into adulthood of life, you're not a child anymore. So you have to be able to think, what is best for myself? I understand what the producers are telling me, and I understand I'm chasing and wanting this career for myself. But at the end of the day, who is always going to have your best interests at heart? Yourself, no one else. Everyone else is going to have what's their best interests at heart. And their best interest at heart was to kind of make a mockery out of you because you introduced yourself as a Pink impersonator. Your best interest at heart was to try to gain your own image into the artistry of the world. So to be honest, when you came, even though they wanted you to do the Pink impersonation, you should have just showed up and been who you are.
Or I don't have to go see, like, hear her. My thing is, if I can't sing, I'm not going anyway.
But with her being a Pink impersonator, a lot of impersonators, to be real, we see them a lot. You got the Michael Jackson, you got the Elvis Presley, you got
some of the impersonators
Tina Turner,
good, though.
but a lot of them be ass.
A lot of them do be ass, but some
and
of
then
them,
they be thinking they can sing.
But
a lot of them be thinking they be.
Or I would, like, I guess in situations you gotta have like some type of discernment. Like, look,
that's what I'm saying.
You gotta read through the lines with some certain things. Why do you want me to act this way? Why do you want me to do this? Why do you want me to do that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, okay, and just go against the grain. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna go out here and sing. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. And
I could have went up there. Well, nah, not necessarily, because you told the producers what you was gonna sing. They probably had that queued up.
Yeah.
And so I was like, first off, I would have went on there and said, "What you sing?" I'm singing Tina Turner. I know they want me to sing Pete, but I'm singing it.
And and even if they do have it queued up, you can do it a cappella. Like, I don't need the sound. I don't need that.
If you're actually talented.
If you are, yeah. But whatever.
Because I gotta go back and watch it though.
Zoe didn't stop pushing back against what had happened. Approximately 7 months after the audition went live, an article was published by BBC News titled "X Factor Cleared Over Pink Tribute Act Complaints," in which it was explained that Zoe had gone to the government broadcasting agency Ofcom, claiming that the X Factor had ignored her track choices, changed her song list and dictated her outfit and hairstyle, insisting on her appearing in her Pink persona. Yet the agency found that the judges' comments were balanced, and her violent reaction after the audition was unacceptable by any standards, whatever her perceived grievance. Accordingly, Ofcom has not upheld Miss Alexander's complaint, with articles such as this one perpetuating Zoe's nightmare.
People said to me, "Oh, don't worry, it'll blow over, it won't last forever," and it lasted for years and years and years.
Things became even worse when Zoe's performance racked up almost 100 million views in compilations such as these two. However, with comments such as "I don't trust any of these" after hearing Zoe Alexander's story, it seemed there was more that was yet to be discussed. On the 20th of July 2020, Zoe uploaded her own video titled "Zoe Alexander X Factor The Truth," in which she now revealed that the performance itself had been edited and even CGI'd to make the X Factor look good and Zoe look bad. She stated the judges actually began the audition by essentially insulting her,
and he moved on to tell me that I was very overconfident, which wasn't shown on TV.
And after she started singing, the audience went crazy by cheering. However, in the final cut of the show, this had been reversed, so the audience was instead cheering while the judges gave their opinions.
In the broadcast footage, the audience reaction has been completely changed. The audience could be heard clapping and cheering her words, as if she was voicing the opinion of the entire audience. In fact, the audience at that moment sat in silence.
As a person who was in the audience, we were told to keep quiet when the judges say anything, so yeah, you're definitely telling the truth. Zoe went on to explain that the music they played was also different to what she'd sent through.
The track that they played was not the track that I had sent them. It was in a different key and it was a different track.
And when she'd thrown the microphone, she'd done so because they'd turned it off while she was explaining what had happened.
Then I realised that they'd turned the microphone off, and that was when I threw it to the floor. But somehow in the video I threw it like that. I didn't. I threw it to the floor.
Zoe then debunked the segment where she'd seemingly walked off and come back with her dad.
"I categorically did not leave the stage and subsequently return hand in hand with my father. Once again, the footage has been completely fabricated. Another example of the X Factor's over-imaginative editing."
Before she added,
I'll say this. Because when it comes down to anything, will we ever know the full truth? Because she's telling her version. X Factor's going to tell their versions. And somewhere lies the truth.
You won't know the full truth, but then
unless you was there.
Unless you was there. But also, I guess with knowledge or like watching certain things or reading certain things or just a lot.
What I'm saying is, basically, not to cut you off, but what I'm saying is, her version is gonna always to make her seem more of
and their version is gonna make them look
and
good.
that's what I'm like. We'll never know the 100% honest truth unless we was there.
But we do know that
footage.
These shows do edit a lot of shit to make it look good for them, especially if a situation like this happens. So, not saying that they did anything wrong. Not saying she did. I don't know.
And the person who's coming and saying, "Hey,
I was in the audience."
No, he has been in the audience before. Let's not forget. You have British X Factor. You have American X Factor. Both audience could be instructed differently. Not everybody is told the same instructions. So wherever you were, it might have been different from where she was. I'm not saying she's lying. I'm just saying she's gonna always paint the picture to make herself look more innocent. They're gonna paint themselves. So we really, at the end of the day, won't know the truth behind the situation.
Even the judge's comments had been inserted at a later date.
Also, Nicole did not stand up and say, "No, baby, no." That did not happen. So they were cut in afterwards to produce the footage in their fictitious storyline.
After heading backstage, another scene was filmed in which Zoe begged the cameraman to stop filming. However, this also didn't make the cut.
I was saying, please stop filming me. Please stop filming me.
This scene was cut from the broadcast footage and replaced with even more fabricated footage, which better suited their storyline, as it didn't portray me as aggressive. The real footage would have clearly demonstrated the broken and emotional state into which I had been bullied.
And with this information, everybody began to stand up for her. I admit I was one of the many who laughed and thought you were this crazy lady who was just mad that you lost the audition. I'm so sorry, they're so horrible for doing you like this, with others informing Zoe that her video had blown up outside of YouTube. Over on TikTok, a relatively small account made a 15 million view video talking about what had happened, which when duetted by Zoe, gained a further 27 million views, with almost everybody sticking up for Zoe. As a result, Nicole Scherzinger's comment section began to fill with comments regarding Zoe's treatment, and therefore the judge did this.
Can we just talk about the fact that Nicole Scherzinger has blocked me on TikTok?
Despite this, the mainstream media ran with the story, causing the X Factor to backpedal rapidly.
You have made the X Factor turn off their Instagram comments. You have made the X Factor turn off their YouTube comments. And you have made the X Factor change the title and description of my X Factor audition video,
with a 19 million view audition video having since been removed altogether. On top of this, Zoe's appearance has also been taken out of the mega viral Top 5 Angriest Contestants video, which when considering Zoe's poor attitude and the show's sketchy editing, feels like a reasonable middle ground between the two parties.
But I don't know where to stand on this. I still stand on the fact that will we all ever know the full honest truth behind any of it. Behind any of it, I don't think we'll ever know the full truth behind any. I will say we do know in past that judge on talent from a lot of these shows is not true. A lot of these people we've seen people who have been denied on plenty of these shows have successful careers. So just because one might tell you you have no talent doesn't mean you have that you truly don't have talent. Mm-hmm. It's just their lack of understanding what your talent might be or what you might bring is not for them. You get what I mean? And my thing is with her as a career, as someone who wants to be a singer, what did you ever pursue anything beyond the X Factor afterwards?
Probably not. She stated she trusted no one. After that, I'll be like.
But if you are truly talented, it's been plenty of people who have had doors shut, spat in the face,
not right
all
away.
that, and have always became.
Everyone is different. I get that. Everyone is different, and everybody's situation is different. Having a door shut in your face and having a no is totally different than total embarrassment. Y'all attacked my character. Y'all make. I didn't say it wasn't. I just say it's totally different than just having a no or a door shut in your face. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah. You move on to the next, whatever. Pick yourself up, going on to the next. But maybe everyone's situation is different. Everyone handles situations different. Maybe she needed to take some time off. Maybe she has pursued other things. I don't know. Because I mean, we didn't really get like the backstory like of her life or nothing like that. So so you really don't know. I will hope so. Like if there's something that you really wanted to do, like I will hope that that situation didn't deter you from just following your dreams altogether. But
but I will say this at the end of the day, whatever you want to do in life, and if you truly believe you have the talent to do that, chase it. No matter what people might say or whatever image they might try to portray you. If you truly are meant to be in that, you will find a way. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we can't let one moment in anyone's life determine who they truly are. You know what I'm saying? No one ever. It seems as though way she's saying it, no one ever tried to give her an option of actually getting to know who she is. Besides this peak impersonating woman that blew up on the X Factor. You get what I'm saying? Or
what they portrayed her to be on national television. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like we never really got to know who Zoe is. And with social media now, and especially if you truly wanted to be an artist, hey, take the opportunity, bro.
But I will say, with like the editing thing, like if they did do all of that after the fact and it does happen. So if they really did that and made it just like totally different from everything and whatever, like that's messed up on so many levels because it does paint a different picture than what really happened. Yeah. But but like you said, we'll never know. Yeah,
we'll never know 100% true. And I'll say this, with the age of how social media is, now it's about who gets out there and play victim first, and that's the side typically people jump on. You get what I'm saying? Like with somebody's covering her story, TikTok blow things up way beyond now, and people a lot of time run with the first story instead of trying to figure out the full story.
I get you.
Yeah, but hey, again, I still don't know. I still don't.
I kind of do believe her though, but that's just my opinion.
I feel.
But anyway.
Hey, make sure you spam us up in the comments. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts and opinions about it in the comment section down below. But as always, y'all know how it goes. I do go by the name DJ Nikki. This is
Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Get my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.